Good evening, I'm Annabelle Tiffin. Welcome to North West Tonight. Our top story. Chaos across the region's rail services after a car crashes onto tracks between Manchester and Liverpool. The driver of the car is in hospital after it fell 20 feet from a bridge. Also tonight...
We just wasn't ready. A lot of countries are ready for pandemics and ours wasn't. We were supposed to be a leading country.
Stories from the pandemic. The public inquiry moves to Manchester for people to share their experiences of COVID. Putting the heat on owners of wood-burning stoves for burning the wrong type of wood. The hardest job in football. As Ronaldo turns 40, we meet the first man he ran rings round.
And it's been a cold day today, a blustery easterly breeze. But we did see some hints of blue sky. Will we see any at the weekend, though? Join me at the end of the programme. I'll give you all the details.
There's been chaos all day on parts of the region's rail network after a car fell off a bridge in Salford onto the Manchester-Liverpool line, blocking the route. Police say the driver was arrested on suspicion of drinking and driving. It happened in the early hours, but engineers are still fixing damage to overhead power cables, as Phil Cunliffe reports.
Upside down and straddled across both tracks of the Manchester-Liverpool main line, the burnt-out remains of a BMW. Considering the car fell 20 feet from a bridge and was lying at the mercy of oncoming trains, it's remarkable that the driver wasn't killed. Emergency crews arrived at Regent's Road roundabout in Salford at around 2 o'clock this morning to assess the damage. Trains were stopped and still aren't running. It appears the driver lost control of his vehicle after reaching the end of the M602 motorway. Somehow the car squeezed between these trees before clipping a concrete wall and ploughing through a concrete parapet onto the tracks below. Injuries to the driver, a man in his 30s, were neither life-threatening or life-changing, although he was taken to hospital. A man in his 30s was later arrested on suspicion of drinking and driving. By late morning, the car was lifted off the tracks and taken away by a road railer as engineers set about making repairs. This was the damage. But it's damage to the overhead power lines that will take the longest to repair.
So there is extensive damage on both sides of the railway, and that's going to take in excess of 8 hours to repair. Our engineers, they've pulled out all the stops today to clear the site and fix the OLE, and they're going to need until about 10 o'clock tonight to reopen the line.
The crash meant that rail services between Newtonley-Willows, Wigan North Western and Manchester-Oxford Road and Manchester-Victoria were cancelled or diverted. Manchester Airport trains have been affected. TransPennine Express services are not running between Liverpool Lime Street and Victoria, where there are rail replacement buses. There's also been disruption on Transport for Wales routes from Chester to Manchester.
You thought it's go to the driver initially, but yeah, the disruption it's caused to passengers is just, it's huge, isn't it? But you've got to think about that's ultimately just somebody's life on the line. So,
can you just tell me kind of how much disruption this has caused?
Massive, absolutely massive. It's already ruined my day.
Fans heading to Manchester United's FA Cup tie with Leicester tonight by rail have been warned to expect disruption. Network Rail, meanwhile, are making new metal brackets from scratch to replace those damaged in the car crash on what's been a day of rail chaos across the network. Phil Cunliffe, BBC North West Tonight.
Well, let's get a roundup of some of the other news today. Cheshire Police have apologised for a serious mistake which allowed a rapist to strike again. Officers who suspected Marianne Grudev of raping a woman in Warrington in 2019 failed to issue a warrant for his arrest. 3.5 years later, he tried to rape a teenager in the same town. He's now been jailed for life. 2 men in their 20s have been charged over a double stabbing in the Longsight area of Manchester on Tuesday night. The victims, a 16-year-old boy and a 20-year-old man, are still in hospital with serious injuries. Both suspects are charged with deliberately causing grievous bodily harm and possessing an offensive weapon. Lancashire's 15 councils have been given a deadline of March to submit initial plans for how they will reorganise themselves. Lancashire currently has 2 unitary councils, a county council and 12 district councils, but the government wants to merge them. Cumbria Wildlife Trust is looking for volunteers to help plant rare seeds to boost wildflower numbers. The charity is looking to reintroduce 14 rare species to the region, including marsh marigolds and lady mantles. The aim is to grow 40,000 plants across South Lakeland over the next 2 years. And I will be discussing devolution with my guests on Politics Northwest this week, when we'll also be looking at the Clean Air Zone, which of course was cancelled this week, and we'll be asking what is next for that. So join me on Sunday, BBC One at 10 o'clock. Now, people who lost loved ones in the pandemic have been sharing their stories with the COVID inquiry, which has been in Manchester. Drop-in sessions have recorded how people were affected to ensure that the country can be better prepared if there's a next time. Here's Kevin Fitzpatrick.
He was the most amazing man, full of life. He was a lawyer during the day, but turned into this superhero at night.
Amanda Pape's husband, Bob, was 52 when he died after contracting COVID in the second wave of 2020.
And when they finally took him back into hospital on the 15th of August, he was immediately put on a ventilator, never came off it.
Just under 227,000 people died in the UK, with COVID-19 listed as one of the causes on their death certificate, and the inquiry is examining what happened. Amanda's been telling her story as part of its listening exercise, which has been in Manchester for 2 days.
I want to make sure that people don't forget, and that in the future, when we have these pandemics, that people are treated better than we were treated.
Sarah also feels there should have been more support to help families cope with the shock of what happened after she lost her husband, Terry.
He was under 40, healthy. They're the stories that you don't hear about in the newspaper. So came along because if we don't share our stories, we're never going to learn from the mistakes that happened and the experiences that people went through.
Terry was only 38 years old when he went into hospital with breathing problems after 10 days of having COVID.
They didn't give me any explanation as to why he died, because there was no underlying issues. And it seems daft now that I've just typed it up. The doctor advised to drink full fat Coke and eat ice cream to increase his calorie intake. There was no offer of a home visit for an appointment, and then 4 days later he wasn't here anymore.
Also sharing her story today is Hayley, who lost her 33-year-old son to COVID in July 2021. She thinks better care might have made a difference.
It was like I was dismissed, he was dismissed, how serious it was. And that was all by guidance that somebody had told a call handler who didn't know what he was dealing with anyway to say it to us on the phone. We just wasn't ready. A lot of countries are ready for pandemics and ours wasn't, considering we're supposed to be a leading country.
These were the last of the drop-in sessions in the Northwest, but there's still time to contribute your experience if you search the COVID inquiry online. Every story recorded will be considered in the overall inquiry's conclusions. Kevin Fitzpatrick, BBC Northwest Tonight, Manchester.
Now, a campaign group in the Northwest says the government isn't doing enough to help councils tackle air pollution from wood burners. The group, Mums for Lungs, says despite more than 450 complaints about suspected illegal wood burning, no one has been fined. They claim many people are still unaware of the health impacts of using wood burners in urban areas, as our environment correspondent Judy Hobson reports.
Wood-burning stoves are becoming increasingly popular. The industry told us sales had increased by 67% in the last 3 months of 2022 compared with the previous year. And yet studies show they have an impact on the environment and our health.
So it will be reading as we speak at the moment.
Campaigner Liz Godfrey wants to know what she and her family are breathing in.
Well, it's a really simple handheld device that you can walk around, and it connects to an app on your phone. And then it gives a reading of the particulates that are in the air at the moment that you're breathing in, and it sends an alert if the levels are high, which it has just done for where we're stood right now.
This machine is measuring particles of 2.5. They're tiny, but they can affect our health. Wood burners and open fires emit these particles, and here in South Manchester today, the readings are worryingly high.
We really want to get a message out there so people can understand the damage that they're doing to themselves if they're burning wood within their own homes, but also that the people are breathing in, their neighbours are breathing in the same smoke, and children living nearby are breathing in this smoke.
In urban smoke-controlled areas, it's illegal to burn damp wood or wood that's been painted. The campaign group says last year in Greater Manchester there were 451 complaints about suspected illegal wood burning, and yet no one was prosecuted or given a penalty letter.
It just shows to us that the government is not giving the council the powers to actually do anything about this growing problem.
To highlight the problem caused by domestic wood burning, councils across Greater Manchester have launched the Burn Better GM campaign.
We actually do a lot of awareness raising, and we send letters out to people to go down a route where we would be fining lots of people and thinking that that's probably a good sign. I actually think it would probably be a really quite bad sign. It would be a sign of failure.
As you breathe in the particulate matter, the smoke, it really goes into the deepest parts of your lungs, and it can get lodged there, but it can also pass over that membrane into the bloodstream, and that increases your risk of lung conditions and respiratory illness. It increases your risk of heart disease. It gets into the brain and increases the risk of dementia and strokes. And actually, wood smoke from burning wood at home is the most important contributor of PM 2.5s to the air in Greater Manchester. It's actually a greater contributor than road transport, which I know will surprise a lot of people.
But the industry says there are steps you can take to significantly reduce the pollution emitted from wood burners.
What we find is a lot of campaigners tend to focus very much on sort of shaming and not actually encouraging best practice. And what that means is choosing your stove responsibly. We encourage the use of the very latest stove technology, and that's a stove that is compliant with eco-design. We recommend that it's installed by a professional and that they choose the very best quality wood fuel and that they maintain their stove really well, and that includes regular chimney sweeping. A modern stove used in the way I've just described will reduce particulate matter emissions by up to 90% compared to an open fire.
Wood burners and open fires are unlikely to be banned, but campaigners say we all need to be more aware of their impact on our health. Judy Hobson, BBC News.
Now imagine starting a business only for it to be underwater just a year later. And that's what happened to the team at Barrowfield Dog Park in Trafford, which was devastated by the New Year's Day flooding. The Environment Agency is currently looking into what went wrong, as Anna Jameson reports.
It was a cruel start to the year for farmers in Trafford. The nearby River Mersey burst its banks, leaving hundreds of thousands of pounds worth of damage.
By 7 a.m. in the morning, I was up to my neck in water. We were just astounded at the speed that the water came in, the sheer volume of water. We've never seen anything like it before. People that have lived around here for years and years and years have never seen flooding like it.
And it's had a lasting impact on some of the animals.
My pony was really, really stressed. He's had to have surgery, and he was one that was specifically terrified. I've had horses all my life, and they're very sensitive little creatures, and to see them in such fear is truly awful.
The business is built on a floodplain, but the owners say they were given no warning from the Environment Agency.
We've dealt with it in the past, we know how to deal with it. We're not new to it happening. We're just new to this experience that's happened this time. It's never been like that before.
Barrowfield Dog Park on the same site only opened last year, and the community have rallied round to get it back on its feet. Nearly £5,000 has been raised online, and local businesses have donated items to get this cafe back open.
The weather gets better, we'll be back here supporting the business and bringing our friends with the dogs and the horses and supporting our local community, really, because it's a lovely area. It's a great kind of atmosphere, and the hot chocolate and the coffee's very nice.
Oh,
yes.
Now you're talking.
Yes.
While the clients are certainly happy to be back, the team still have unanswered questions.
We've had worse rainfall on record than this. 12 hours of rain. We've had it much worse. And, in our mind, mistakes have been made and therefore somebody needs to be held accountable.
In a statement, the Environment Agency says it will be carrying out a routine review, but says its evidence showed their defences performed as they should near Urmston.
We need to make sure that we've got a multi-agency approach from the Environment Agency, United Utilities and the Council to make sure that all the protections that can be in place are that we get the answers as to what's causing the issues locally and that we pull together to protect residents and businesses in future.
And until they know what happened, the team have no choice but to start again. Anna Jameson, BBC North West Tonight in Urmston.
Right, let's move on to sport now. Liverpool's season getting better and better, Ian, and now they've got a Wembley final to look forward to as well.
They have, and the way they're going, it might just be the first of a few finals they're involved with this season. Who knows? The Reds were already the bookies' favourites to retain the Carabao Cup even before last night's semi-final second leg against Tottenham, which, let's not forget, they went into a goal down from the first leg. But having gone ahead through Cody Gakpo, they swept Spurs aside with Virgil van Dijk, making it 4-0 late in the second half. They'll now play Newcastle in the final at Wembley on March 16th. Well, Liverpool sides now will turn to the FA Cup and a fourth-round visit to Championship strugglers Plymouth on Sunday. First up, though, in the competition are the holders Manchester United, who will be looking to recreate glorious scenes like these at Wembley last May. Tonight, they host fellow Premier League side Leicester City, who are managed by United legend Ruud van Nistelrooy. Lots of our teams are in action this weekend. League One Wigan are at home to Premier League Fulham. That in particular looks to be a good one to watch out for. It's also a big weekend in Rugby League's Challenge Cup, but the big news today regards Salford Red Devils, whose future has now been assured, thankfully, with the completion of a takeover following months of uncertainty. A consortium led by businessman Dario Berta completed an eve-of-season takeover that clears the club's debt. In the process, Berta's called it the start of a very bright and successful future. Well, Salford begin their 2025 season away to League One side Midlands Hurricanes in the Challenge Cup on Sunday. Some other intriguing tides of a similar ilk. Holders Wigan Warriors play tonight at Sheffield Eagles of the Championship, with 2023 winners Lee Leopards at Workington. Fellow Super League sides St Helens and Warrington also face lower league opponents. Ince Rose Bridge of the National Conference League are in the mix too. Could be some turn-ups, you never know. Now we go back to football, and this man, the superstar birthday boy whose career just keeps on going, like Annabelle's actually. Cristiano Ronaldo turned 40 this week, so we thought we'd go back to August 2003 when he made his first appearance for Manchester United. As it happened, he was directly up against another youngster who was making his Premier League debut for opponents Bolton. This is what happened when Cristiano Ronaldo met Nicky Hunt.
The players have raved about him.
The moment Cristiano Ronaldo made his Manchester United debut, marking him was fellow Premier League debutant Nicky Hunt.
Nicky, sadly I couldn't get us into Old Trafford to do this interview, but I have got us here into Tempest United in Bolton, where the facilities are just as good.
His introduction to life at Old Trafford.
Obviously, when Sir Alex Ferguson puts so much, money into such a young player, you know he's going to be a superstar.
Here's Ronaldo. Hunt gets tight to him.
Here, just hit him as hard as I can. Still can't get near him. Look, there's a trick. Can't get near him still. Fair enough. I've hit him as hard as I could. He rolled over a bit, got straight back up. So I thought, oh right, okay, it's not going to be an easy game for me this. And then he came again, did a skill. I've hit him again. He's rolled away. Got straight back up, and I'm thinking, oh, this is going to be a long 20. Just kept looking at the scoreboard thinking it's only 72 minutes here, and I think it's going to be a long old slog this. Yeah, and then it was 1-0 when he came on, and it finished 4-0. Oh, at least I got a tackle in there. Just pass it straight to him though. There you go, have another go, Cristiano. Oh, how did he miss that? That was rude, yeah.
You got some tackles in, didn't you?
Yeah. Look, it was hard because he played with both feet, which was, No disrespect to Ryan Giggs, fantastic footballer, world-class footballer, predominantly left-footed, so you knew he'd like to go down the left. With Ronaldo, you could show him inside and he'd go inside. You show him outside and he'd go outside and take you on and whip it in with his left foot. So he was on hiding to nothing, really. They had Paul Scholes, Roy Keane, great players, taking the touch and giving him the ball as often as he could. And now he's over on Ricardo Gardner's side. I think this is where Campo snaps him, I think. There you go, have that on your knee. It was a nightmare to even get near. You know, I was trying to go here, trying to go there, trying to stand on his toes, tug his shirt behind the referee's back, and he looked at me as if to say, like, what are you doing? And then just shoot off it. I tried mind games, but they didn't work with him because one, he probably couldn't understand my thick Bolton accent for one, and then two, he didn't understand English very well, so he was just thinking, yeah, who's this guy here? Who is this guy?
A guy who'd go on to make a further 160 appearances for Bolton and score against Liverpool.
And then driven in, it's Nicky Hunt who scores.
He was part of arguably one of Bolton Wanderers' greatest ever sides. Now aged 41, what does he think of Ronaldo's longevity?
I bet very rarely he has days off because he just wants to play. I think in his current condition he could easily play to his 45 easily, and that would be a credit to himself.
I wonder if he's being asked about Nicky Hunt this week.
Well, I hope so. I hope so. Because I've made my debut with Ronaldo, when Ronaldo did, it always pops up, and it's great for me to talk about these experiences because obviously, you know, kids growing up and things, they do know Cristiano Ronaldo, and hopefully I'll be involved in that legacy until he's 130 years old and I keep getting interviews because I made my debut with Cristiano Ronaldo.
And for being a key part of that brilliant Bolton side for all those seasons.
Exactly, of course, yeah, definitely.
The excellent Nicky Hunt there. Also popular with fans of Crewe Alexandra and Accrington Stanley in our region.
I believe that you've had some silky skills as well, didn't you, while you were out there?
Well, when we were on Tempest United earlier on, we did a little bit of a recreation, or tried to do a recreation of Nicky Hunt versus Ronaldo. As you can see, the footwork. This is TV on a budget. Look at that footwork. Look at the acting from Nicky Hunt there, actually. Honestly, if he doesn't get nominated for an Academy Award after that...
Well, are you using a foot double then, or is that actually
No, look at that. I mean, look at that. It's just prancing round the ball. It's taking my breath away watching this. And look at Nicky. I did actually get it through his legs there, but I think he let me, I think.
Do you think?
Yeah. But great to play against a Premier League player for 10 seconds.
Well done. Thank you very much. You all look very good for 40-odd. Now, as we know, music can really evoke emotions and memories. It can often help people living with dementia. Over the next 3 years, the Liverpool Philharmonic Orchestra will hold performances in Barrow as part of a collaboration with local organisations. Some sessions are dementia-friendly, demonstrating the effect music can have, as Phil Chapman reports.
You'd normally expect to hear musicians of this calibre in one of the country's great concert halls, but here in the surroundings of Barrow Library, during one of its dementia-friendly sessions, the Liverpool Philharmonic is touching deep emotions and bringing back special memories for people here in Cumbria.
It has mixed dementia and vascular dementia and Alzheimer's, and music is one great thing. He loves music, all music. One of his favourite songs is California Dreaming. Loved it.
Tony lives with us at Abbey Meadow, and you find music really powerful, don't you, Tony?
Oh, yeah, without doubt.
Without doubt. Really special, really emotional.
For, you know, people experiencing dementia or difficult things going on in people's lives, it happens to everybody, but just that, you know, the opportunity to come to a concert like this and have an hour where they can completely escape from whatever's going on in their lives. It's an amazing feeling to be able to be part of that.
There's a real therapeutic effect to it, I think, and it can bring back memories of their earlier life and things, and you can see that in some of the reactions, the way that people are moving. Maybe they played an instrument when they were younger and it all kind of comes back to them as a really positive memory.
Well, this amazing partnership between Barrow and the Liverpool Philharmonic is being supported by funding from Arts Council England until at least early 2027, but it's hoped the music will continue playing here for much longer than that.
A programme like this is for the long term. We don't want to be
that organisation that just comes in for a couple of years and then disappears. So we're committed to working way beyond 2027 with partners and to really establishing ourselves as a presence for Barrow people. We've been speaking to people in Barrow who really wanted us there and really felt that we could add value locally. It's reaching more people, it's giving our musicians new settings in which to work, and it's broadening our impact. And this is what we do as Liverpool Philharmonic.
That was just amazing. Absolutely. Woke you up, didn't it? Got you going.
Phil Chapman, BBC Northwest Tonight.
Beautiful sounds. Right, let's get the weather now. Kay is here, and we've both been just standing here going, I'm really cold.
I've literally got thermal tights on.
I know. The studio's cold, it's freezing outside. Cold. I just can't get warm.
A bit of snow in the air tonight for some, and it's going to get colder as we head into next week as well. We'll start off with some nice pictures, first of all. Look at this photograph. Now, let me get this right. This is a view of the Langdales from Ray Castle. Thank you, Craig Rich. I love that photo. And just see a few hints of brightness on the Wirral. So Merseyside, yeah, we did see a fair bit of cloud. We did see some spells of sunshine for some today. Thank you for sending in your photos. If you want to join me on socials or become a BBC Weather Watcher, you can do, and send me in your snaps. So, the weekend. Now then, cold easterly winds. Although Sunday, a little less cold before we get really cold air coming in on Monday. Risk of wintry showers. Now, that's overnight tonight and into tomorrow. And the weekend overall will be cloudy, and we are looking at some mist and fog as well. So definitely fires on. Now, you can see it's an occluded front we've got down in the south that's spiralling showers our way. That will sink further away back down to France. And then we will have high pressure in charge, but still exposed to that easterly breeze as we head through Sunday into Monday, and actually for most of next week it will stay cold. So the showers will start to push up from the south. Now, these showers are going to be falling as rain, sleet and mainly hill snow. We are talking about snow above 200 metres, so especially for the Pennines, particularly southern Pennines, but we've got quite a gusty northeasterly breeze, so that will allow that to just spread a little. So you could well see a dusting of snow. Temperatures down to freezing in Buxton, 3 degrees on the Isle of Man. So it'll be cold, cloudy, breezy. There'll be some hill fog, some mist and murk. The showers will start to fizzle out for a time, but then as we head later into the afternoon, we'll start to get those showers returning. Now, by this point, there will be mostly just of rain. Temperatures getting to between about 2 and 6 degrees, so a really cold feeling day. Now, as we go through Sunday, ever so slightly temperatures will pick up for a brief time, but then as we start into next week, that cold easterly really piles in and temperatures are going to struggle to get above 4 or 5 degrees. For Sunday, there'll be an awful lot of cloud out and about, some mist and hill fog as well. We could well see a few brighter spells like we did today, but the best of those look to be towards coastal parts. Temperatures get to about 8 or 9 degrees, and then, like I said, cold, cloudy, at times a little bit damp into next week.
Sounds lovely.
Sounds cold.
Not really very lovely. What did you think of Ian's footwork?
Yeah, interesting.
It was a bit more Michael Flatley than Michael Owen, wasn't it?
It was definitely Irish dancing.
That's it from us. We're back at 10:30. Have a lovely weekend. Bye-bye.
Bye.